Choreb Beruach, Sword of the Spirit. Interpreted and narrated by Wendy. Yuchanan, John, chapter 19. Then Pilate took Yehoshua and beat him, and the soldiers arranged a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put a purple robe on him. Also they said, "Hail, King of the Yehudim," and they struck him with their hands. Furthermore, Pilate went out again and said to them, "Behold, I bring him out to you, so that you may know that I find no fault in him." Thus Yehoshua went out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, and he said to them, "Behold the man." Therefore, when the chief priests and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "You take and crucify him, for I find no fault in him." The Yehudim answered him, "We have a law, and by our law he should die, because he made himself to be the son of Aluah." Therefore, when Pilate heard those words, he was even more afraid. So he went into the judgment hall again and asked Yehoshua, "Where are you from?" But Yehoshua gave him no answer. Then Pilate asked him, "Will you not speak to me? Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you and the power to release you?" Yehoshua answered, "You would have no power against me, except it has been given to you from above. Therefore, he who has delivered me up to you has the greater sin." And from then on, Pilate sought to release him. But the Yehudim cried out, saying, "If you let this man go, you are not a friend of Caesar. Whoever makes himself a king speaks against Caesar." Therefore, when Pilate heard these words, he brought Yehoshua out and sat in the judgment seat in a place called the Pavement, but in Ibri, Gebata. Now it was the day of preparation for the Pesach, and Pilate said to the Yehudim, "Behold your king." But they cried out, "Away, away, crucify him." Pilate asked them, "Should I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king, but Caesar." Therefore he delivered him to them to be crucified, and they took Yehoshua and led him away. And he went out carrying his cross to the place of the skull, which is called in Ibri Galgalta, where they crucified him, and two others with him, one on each side, and Yehoshua in the midst. Furthermore, Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was, "Yehoshua of Nazareth, the King of the Yehudim." Therefore many of the Yehudim read this title, because the place where Yehoshua was crucified was near the city, and it was written in Iber, Greek, and Latin. Then the chief priests of the Yehudim said to Pilate, "Do not write the King of the Yehudim. Instead, that he said, 'I am the King of the Yehudim.'" Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written." Then, when the soldiers had crucified Yehoshua, they took his garments and made 4 parts, a part for each soldier, also the coat. Now the coat was seamless, woven throughout. Therefore they said among themselves, "Let us not tear it, but cast lots for it, whose it will be." So the scripture might be fulfilled, which said, "They parted my garments among them, and cast lots for my vesture." Thus the soldiers did these things. Now the mother of Yehoshua and his mother's sister, Miriam, the wife of Achab, and Miriam Magdalite, stood near the cross of Yehoshua. Therefore, when Yehoshua saw his mother and the Talmid whom he loved standing near, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the Talmid, "Behold your mother." and from that hour that Talmud took her for his own. After this, knowing that all things were now accomplished, so that the scripture might be fulfilled, Yahushua said, I thirst. Now there was a vessel full of vinegar placed there. So they filled a sponge with vinegar, and put it upon hyssop, and put it to his mouth. Therefore, when Yahushua had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished. Then he bowed his head, and gave up the ruach. Moreover, because it was the preparation day, bodies could not remain upon the cross on the day of Shabbat, for that day of Shabbat was a great feast. The Yehudim requested of Pilate that their legs might be broken, and they might be taken away. Then the soldiers came and broke the legs of the first, and of the other who was crucified with him. But when they came to Yahushua, and saw that he was dead already, they did not break his legs. Instead, one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side. Then blood and water came from there. And he who saw it is reporting it, and he knows that he speaks the truth, so that you might believe. For this was done so that the scripture, a bone of him will not be broken, would be fulfilled. And again, another scripture says, they will look upon him whom they pierced. And after this, Yusuf of Ramatayim, being a Talmud of Yahushua, but secretly, for fear of the Yehudim, requested of Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahushua, and Pilate gave him leave. Therefore he came and took the body of Yahushua. Also, Nakademun, who first came to Yahushua by night, came and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pounds. Then they took the body of Yahushua and wrapped it in linen sheets with the spices, as is the burial custom of the Yehudim. Now there was a garden in the place where he was crucified, and in the garden was a sepulchre, in which a man had not been laid yet. Therefore they laid Yahushua there, because it was the preparation day of the Yehudim, and because the sepulchre was near.